Here we are. And welcome back out in the garden. Hey guys, I got to tell you one thing. Scotty did not want to join us because of the fact he was worried about his shoes. Take a look at Bobby down there. He came out, my illustrious cameraman. You can see how wet it is out here, and this is a perfect time of year to get out there and start planting. But let's talk about planting those different types of plants you've got around, maybe some that foliage you've got around the house and not knowing really what to do with it after Christmas. We're going to show you. Come in over here. Here's something that I really like to plant. This is called a Norfolk Island pine. This is a very small pine, holds up well, works well as a patio tree. And you see these large droopy type leaves. This guy needs afternoon shade, folks, so you can't plant him right out in the middle of the sunlight. So morning sun, afternoon shade, the ideal situation. One that really likes it are these little Elderica pines, or another one called Aleppo pines. Both these do very well. They sell them, they're very inexpensive, and they grow very quickly out here in the desert Southwest. I got to show you one that Dan Davis and I planted a while back. What, about 10 years ago? What do you think, Bobby? Yeah. He was about, it was about 10 years ago. Bobby was there when we planted. You can see how large that tree has grown in just a little bit of time. So you got to be careful. These guys grow very quickly, very fast, and very large, so you want to keep in mind when you're putting that in around your home. But they do very well out here. Here's something else I use in my garden. This is some of your rosemary out here. Again, something you can use as an herb. Needs well-drained soil, and that's one thing you want to keep in mind with a lot of this plant material. They do not like wet type feet. So when you're planting something like this, make sure you work in a lot of lava sand or some type of gravel or something along those lines that have some really good drainage capabilities. Without it, you're going to end up with a dead plant. Kalanchoe is another one. Again, well-drained soil. It comes from the Mediterranean area, so all these are going to have to really have that well-drained soil that drains. And when I say drains, it has to drain within an hour or two after you dig the hole and you fill it up with water. If it doesn't drain for that fast, you're going to have some real serious problems. Some other things we do right now is we start thinking about putting those poinsettias and what to do with them. One, you don't want to leave them outside, especially if it's going to start getting cold, and that's a possibility this weekend. Keep them out of any of those drafts. When to water? Well, make sure the top of the surface is dry before you water. The other thing it has a tendency to do is collect water in the bottom of this foil. So every time you actually water, make sure you take that foil off and drain the water out of the foil itself. It'll work as a saucer for you, but at the same time, they do not like wet feet, so it's real important. So remember, you want to go ahead and start thinking about planting a lot of those trees and plants you got, or that foliage around there. Most of the time, you're going to need well-drained soil, and you're going to often run into some great, well, Christmas-type decorations. Olivia, what do you got growing in your house, girl?
Not a lot. Drying out Christmas tree indoors, and hopes to sustain my poinsettia plants at least to January 1st.
We're going to talk about that a little bit more, and I'm going to tell you what to do with that Christmas tree and how to utilize in your garden at 9:20.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. And I appreciate the fact that you're willing to get out there and get your feet wet. You're not afraid.
There are men in this world still.
That's right. And there's two of them out there, you and Bob.
And Bobby. Yeah,
and no comment in here.
No comment there. In fact,
No
I want to see those pretty shoes of his when he gets a chance.
Pretty is the operative word. Thanks, Dave. Coming up, the